Welcome back to Talkin' Shop with ShopSaber. I am Brandon.
And I'm Nick.
Sidekick Nick.
Sidekick Nick. Let's start that over.
No, we're not starting over. You messed it up. We're going to live with that.
Dang it.
That's the way it is now.
Episode 148 today.
148.
Time flies when you're having fun.
It really does. Our episodes get really, really long sometimes. Like, this could be a quick one, 20 minutes, and then it's 48
And then
minutes
you
later.
just keep going on and on and on and on.
Hey, listen here.
It's okay, though. You like the sound of your own voice. I don't mind it either.
We're back with Powerade Zero today.
They're back.
So you're smiling today, which is
I'm
nice.
happy. I'm in a really good mood today.
It should be Gatorade, but it's okay. We'll take Powerade Zero.
We argue about this every week.
Yeah, I know. I get it. But hey, guess we have guests here today.
We do.
So we could ask our guests their opinion of it.
I know one guess I can answer. How about Mike number 2 over there?
Mike number 2. Aren't you on Mike 2?
Oh, I'm 4.
No, you're 4. That's 2. Oh, I turned up the wrong mic earlier. Oh, well.
He said he likes Gatorade or Powerade Orange.
Well, let's first introduce him. How's that sound?
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah,
nobody
yeah.
else knows who we're sitting here with. Unless they listened last week.
Well, why don't you let them know who's here?
So we're with Twin Cities CNC today. Guys, how are you?
Good.
Great.
Thanks for having us.
Let you guys introduce yourselves.
Yeah, I'm Tommy Lindholm.
I'm Andrew Byer.
So now you got their voices because I'm sure you guys can tell them apart now. You won't be able to. I'm going to tell you that right now. With your eyes closed, you will not know which one's talking. They sound very similar. So guys, appreciate you coming in today.
Of course.
Hopefully we'll be able to share some fun stuff here with some of our guests. I know we've talked a little bit about your guys' business, and honestly, like, we were starting an hour ago, and that's how much fun we've had just chatting, and we got distracted and we realized we probably should turn the mics on eventually, or else we're not going to get an episode in, right?
Yeah, walking around the factory, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff to see, a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
for sure. We started off with talking about racing, so you guys got me right there. We walked in, and right away we have race car talk, and then we spent time talking about F1 for a solid 15 minutes before we even got started.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's more of Andrew.
Yeah, so
like
Andrew and I almost left to go talk racing. We weren't even gonna.
Like I said, I come in on the weekend sometimes, and Andrew's just sitting there watching racing on
Right.
his computer, and I'm like, why don't you go home?
Well, I mean, sometimes it's nice to get away from home, I guess.
See, I'm not the only one that watches sports at work once in a while.
This is true. This is true. We watched Nick watch the Masters.
I
all
think
last
it
week.
was more Brandon. He was more up to date on it than I was, I think, last week.
Yeah, I was following the
I was.
Masters this weekend
So
at
good.
work. Yeah. I don't think anyone's going to catch Scotty.
No, it's the next Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
I was still rooting for Tiger Woods, just for the record.
What was he, 14 over?
He finished dead last.
finished
He hasn't
last.
Made the cut,
Yep.
but
Yikes.
But you know what?
he made it,
He made the cut
and he finished.
consecutively. That's the record now for the most consecutive cuts made. Correct?
Yeah, how many?
I don't know what that number is.
24.
Is it 24?
Yeah.
Oh, Jeff
I
Gordon.
guess,
should've known
I guess
that
he
number.
wasn't paying that close of attention.
I told you I didn't know that stuff. I just knew that he was going for a record. I didn't know what the record he was going for was, other than cuts made. So
He did tell us we were going to get a half a day on Friday if Tiger was in the lead.
I did tell him that.
So as soon as Tiger hits the top of the leaderboard, you guys can leave.
as I said,
It never happened. As soon
Tiger's
as
just
that
got to get to the leaderboard. You guys can go home.
As Tom Petty once said, he went free falling as soon as that was said.
He did. It was great. It's like he was on my team.
I know, it was
He
over.
knew I didn't want you guys to go home, so he just started tanking.
Yeah.
Tanking for ShopSaber. I like it.
Thanks, Tiger.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
So back to the question: Powerade Zero or Gatorade, guys? Which one is it? You got to solve the debate here.
Are you guys sponsored by Powerade?
Not
No,
even close.
It's just kind of a running bit on my Snapchat.
Okay.
that-
Nick seems to think we are, but I have yet to see any reason to say we're sponsored by them.
I'm more of a Gatorade guy.
Yeah.
I hate to divide the table right away, but
it's okay.
I like it.
I'm more
Fierce
of a
grape.
liquid IV guy, but my
Okay.
dad loves Powerade Zero for
I like your dad.
decades. Yeah.
decades.
Well, he's not on the show.
But you
so-
know what they say about opinions? Well, we can move on.
Oh, you're ridiculous.
No, but it started probably, I don't know, 27, 28 episodes ago. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of, it made Brandon laugh, so now it's kind of.
Yeah, Nick sent me a Snapchat that morning, and it was a picture of his Powerade Zero, and he said, ShopSaber's sponsored by. And I'm like, how did we end up with a sponsor that I was unaware of? Like, and how come you're the one getting sponsored for it?
The old moneyless sponsorship.
Right. Yeah. It just turned into Nick likes to buy Powerade Zero, and I'm somehow now sponsored by them. So,
So yeah, it's a little good natured humor every week that
yeah.
everybody's kind of caught on to.
Yeah. So it's been a lot of fun. But yeah, let's talk about business, guys.
Yeah.
What brings us together here, I guess, first is you guys are a customer of ours.
We are. Bought a machine a number of years ago. I started the company we've kind of grown into a custom manufacturer. So our bread and butter is custom cabinetry. We work with a lot of contractors and builders and build, cut and assemble their cabinetry for them. Custom closet company, we manufacture their whole line. But then we do, a bunch of goofball stuff, just being a custom manufacturer. People call and they say, we have an idea. We have some geometry we'd like you to cut out of this material. And we say, sure, but it didn't always start that way. I mean, when I bought the machine, I come from the custom cabinetry industry. So that's what I did for years. And before that, I was in the marketing industry, working in a fabrication shop, fabricating big displays for big brands and stuff. And we would outsource a lot of CNC work, a lot of laser work, usually simple things, but just things that would bog down our production. And as the invoices were coming in, I thought, somebody's making money somewhere with all the CNC work. And then when I moved to the custom cabinetry industry, I started researching CNC technology and what it can do for a cabinet shop. We were a small custom high-end shop, and it was just two of us designing and fabricating everything. And the more videos I watched of what people were doing with CNC machines in their shop, I tried to push the company in that direction. It never really happened, so eventually I just took a risk on myself. Went out on my own. Originally the idea was, I'll work through my backlog of cabinetry work that I have, and then I'll just start doing design to install cabinetry. And that quickly became unrealistic because it was just me. And, I stuck my ShopSaber in a small little space with a loosey-goosey lease. So if I failed, the blowback wouldn't be too bad. But quickly kind of realized that, if I wanted to make the kind of money I wanted to make the kind of jump that I wanted to make to the next tier, I needed to figure out how to use my limited space and still generate revenue.
Right.
So it quickly became just manufacturing products, quick in, quick out. Because, Andrew and I were unloading trucks by hand and doing everything the Fred Flintstone way, even though we had this awesome ShopSaber and automating all of these things. It was just not feasible in that space. So what we did is we started manufacturing one-piece MDF doors. And my philosophy with that was kind of, in business, you hear you can only have 2 out of 3 things, fast, quality, and cheap.
Yep.
My philosophy was, how do I give people all 3?
Right.
Just to get my product out there. So
Right.
I had the cheapest door in the state. Lead times, best lead times in the state. And then we were hand sanding everything. Our whole thing was you can take this door and you can go right in your spray booth with it. Any cabinet shop knows that if you order doors from a factory, there's still labor attached to that door. It comes in, they say it's sanded. It's just going through a wide belt sander.
Correct.
So we were hand sanding everything. And quickly we were cutting a lot of doors. And it was awesome. But, like I said, we were doing everything the Fred Flintstone way. So it was very, very labor intensive. But, that allowed us to make that next jump,
Right.
Weekends, evenings, coming in and doing these doors. We saved our pennies and eventually, took all the money that we had made and we spent it all to get into this new space and take a risk.
Wait a second here. So you're telling me that business owners don't just have tons of money, nights and weekends off, and have giant buildings to start with?
Yeah, not to start with.
I thought that's how it worked. That's the way everybody talks about it, that business owners don't have to do anything.
You're talking about a long-term goal. That's a long-term goal.
No, yeah. It's awesome to hear their story.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off, but keep going. I just wanted to make sure we pointed out the fact that all this hard work is really what builds a business, you know?
Yeah, so I mean, we're in a much bigger space now, and we've invested. We kind of approached it with the same mentality, where we want to plan this for our future growth.
Right.
So, we bought a dust collector that was way bigger than we needed right away, and an air compressor that was way bigger than we needed. And we spent a lot of money on a really nice edge bander to pair with our ShopSaber. Kind of looking forward to the growth that we want to have, we slated a spot in the shop for another CNC machine, and ran electrical to it, and we have dust collection ports all ready to receive it, and we're kind of rapidly approaching that point where we need another machine. But the one thing I talk about, that first space that we were in, and kind of the sacrifices that we made with the footprints, and it was, our drive-up door was off an alley, so we had to unload trucks by hand. But one compromise that we didn't want to make is the machine that we're getting.
Right.
We wanted a machine that could facilitate the kind of growth that we wanted. And before, I didn't know anything about CNC technology. I really didn't. I made everything by hand. So making this jump, I needed to find a machine that was accessible, a technology that was accessible. And when talking to smarter people than myself, they pointed me towards ShopSaber. I talked to a buddy of mine that, he worked out in Denver at a cut shop for a long time, and then eventually worked in a larger production facility in Madison, Wisconsin, where I'm from. And he said, you need to look at ShopSaber. They're right up the road from you. And they make really quality machines. Everything's made in America. The controller's the simplest I've ever seen. And sure enough, as I started researching it, and, I came down to the factory and took the tour. Brandon, you actually gave me my tour however many years ago that was.
Yeah.
And it became very clear to me that this is what I need to do. Yeah. I had to spend more money, to get off the ground to get that machine, but it's been reliable every single day. It turns on and it does what it should do every single day. And, stuff happens. You got to call tech support, and to be able to be on the phone with somebody in 5 minutes after you have a problem is worth its weight in gold as a new business owner with zero CNC experience. So yeah, it's been amazing. I was by myself for 9 months to a year, and then I met Andrew, and he came on.
So you guys weren't friends before, like not
No.
long-term buddies that decided to do this together.
No, Andrew. So like I said, the first space we were in, it was kind of this shared space.
Right.
So Andrew had a product development and prototyping company in kind of an adjacent space.
Okay.
So we were kind of two friendly ships passing in the night every day. And then Andrew was shutting down his company, and we were just talking, and I was like, well, if you need extra cash, like, I would love help sanding doors.
Right.
And Andrew said, sure. So we were just sanding doors for months together. And, as you start talking and you get to know somebody, you realize, wow, we like each other. And you have very similar values to me, and similar work ethic. And then, I learned that he's worked in manufacturing all through his 20s. And, he's sat on CNC machines and been cutting a wide variety of materials, and he has a degree in industrial design, and he has this product development company, and it was just like a good fit.
Right.
And you were getting out of kind of a bad business relationship, so it was, you took great caution, kind of moving forward with me, which, I appreciated that too. You weren't somebody that just jumped at ideas and opportunities. Right. You really sat down and thought about it.
Which I think is an undervalued trait.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot of restraint sometimes when you're excited by something to just take a step back. Let's look at the bigger picture, figure out how to get there the right way. Like,
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, when you've done it wrong the first time,
Right.
you get another shot at it. Yeah. So brief history of mine. So I started at a custom plastics manufacturer, designing on CAD software like SolidWorks, then using CAM software like HSM Works to program 3-axis and 5-axis machines. So I was cutting a lot of plastic and tools,
Yep.
molds for that. And then, I left that company, but retained them as a client, started a product design and prototyping business with a partner. And then we moved into the space where I would eventually meet Tommy. And so when we, started working together, I was sanding doors with him. We, liked each other, had similar values, and he asked me to join. I didn't know if I wanted to at that point.
Yeah.
And
Which rightfully so. It sounds like
Yeah,
you're kind of like,
yeah.
I don't know if I want to get back into another partnership there.
And now, you look at kind of our skill set, and it really overlaps really well. I'm fluent in the financial part of the business, and kind of come from CNC from a more custom way. So, I can design anything in SolidWorks, and then, program it through HSM Works, and then send it to the ShopSaber. So it's nice to capture work that way, but some of the custom jobs you have to learn to say no to. So,
Right.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that, learning to say no. Sometimes
Yeah.
that's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, life. Just to expand on that a little bit, life is full of people that do the edges of the puzzle, and
Right.
people that do the middle of the puzzle.
Right.
And if you can find somebody that complements you very well, and maybe that flip flops with every project,
Right.
it's can be lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
People who do the outside of the puzzle and people who I like that
Yeah.
because that's the truth. Like that is the you've kind of brought it to light for me. That's the secret sauce for making a business successful.
Yeah.
Right there. Everybody says like, how do you become? That is the success. He
Yep.
just gave you the answer. Anybody who wants to be successful, you just have to find enough people to put the puzzle together.
Well, and I knew from the beginning that I would need a partner.
Right.
Eventually, if I wanted to be successful. I could have gotten a machine and stayed in the small little
Right.
space and, cut some cabinetry
Right.
and maybe made a fine living. I don't know. But I knew that if I wanted to take it to the level that I
Right.
wanted to take it to, I would need somebody with a complementary skill set like
Right.
that. And the universe just dropped Andrew in my lap,
Right.
so to speak.
And you were able to have another kid and go on a couple vacations. And things could keep
Look
rolling.
at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
That's
yeah.
what business owners do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Vacation.
Vacations all the time.
Vacations, yep.
No, but it's actually a good point that you bring up there, and I love that you brought that up, Andrew, is because a lot of people don't realize that like that's the biggest burden as a business owner is I have to do it all because I don't have anybody else. Like I have to do the accounting, I have to do the ordering, I have to go do the work, I have to deliver it, I have to be customer service, all the stuff you have to do along the way, right? And oh, by the way, I have to think about how I'm going to develop the next product, go find the next sale, just to keep the business running. Mm-hmm. Oh, now your wife wants to go on vacation, or your husband wants to go on vacation, or your kids have a school thing, or where do I find the time now? And like you end up so bogged down, and that's where like I was joking with you guys off the air here that people have this misconception when they don't own a business that business owners all are rich, they all have freedom galore, and they don't have to work hard. And it's like it's honestly like. Yeah, there's 1% of the world that's business owners that operate that way, right? Then the rest of us are in the trenches working just as hard, if not harder, than anybody else in the business just to keep it afloat and moving in the right direction. And you're probably working most nights and weekends of some capacity, maybe not always in the business, but on the business. You're at home thinking about it. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I can't tell you the last time I've taken a shower and not at some point been like, what can I do next to make the business better?
Yeah, we always talk about falling asleep and just like all these anxious thoughts are coming
Right.
through about the business or whatever. And yeah, I mean, there's a misconception that you own your own business, you don't have a boss.
Yeah.
It's like no. Now your customers are your bosses,
Yep.
and they can just choose to not give you any work anymore.
Right.
You
Correct.
know, like
And that's
If you meet somebody out in the wild that you think that about them is, wow, this person owns a business and they have all of the freedom in the world.
right.
10 times out of 10, that's built on decades of hard work.
Right.
And so long-term goals,
Right.
certainly.
Right.
But for now, yeah, my wife always jokes, like we're sitting there, playing with our kids, and I just have a vacant stare on my face. And she's like, I know you're thinking about work. And I'm like, you're right. I'm done. I'm tuned in.
Yeah. And it's the truth. Like, and it's a great and terrible quality, because like that ability to always think about it. And, it's, I think what makes people, most successful, because they don't turn it off. They're just like, hey, the business is my life. But sometimes it's a distraction, and that's the problem I run into sometimes, is like, I've gotten better over the last few years. I have fortunately surrounded myself with a lot of good people, even like Nick here jumping in and, helping me with the tasks that before I always called myself a martyr. Like, I had to do it all. Like,
Sure.
Nobody else could touch it, because if I don't do it, it's not going to get done. And I've had to get like comfortable with, no, we have the people now. Like, we aren't the same company we were when Dad started it in the home garage and there was 7 people running around trying to do all the jobs. But it's like, no, now we have 90 plus employees. Like, trust that the employees are doing their job. You don't have to, necessarily do all the little things anymore.
Yeah.
And I've always said, the scalability of a business, it takes you where it's going to take you. You can have a million ideas and a million things that you're going to do. Your customers are going to tell you where they want you to go. And like you said, they're really your boss. They're the ones going to tell you where to go. And you kind of just grow the way the business tends to kind of go.
Yeah, you got to be flexible.
Yeah.
Like we, initially when we moved into this new space, we were like, oh, hey, we're going to be a door shop making a bunch of doors or whatever. And now we look at where we are, and, our client base has taken us in certain directions, and it's worked out great.
And I mean, at the end of the day, that's why I got the ShopSaber, is because it is so versatile. Because, starting out, I didn't really know exactly where my bread was going to be buttered.
Right.
I knew I could do a million things with the machine. Yeah, cabinetry is a given because that's what I know.
Yep.
But what if I can't sell cabinetry?
Right.
I need to be able to cut signs, cut acrylic and plastics, and and we get those calls.
That was for us. Like, that's the best thing about what we do, is there are a lot of machines out there that are purpose built.
Yeah.
Like, people build CNC cabinet machines. That's all they build. And they have a market, and that's their market, and that's fine. And oftentimes we'll get compared to those people, right? Oh, well, so-and-so has, and it's like, yeah, but that's all that machine's designed to do, is that. Of course it might have that feature standard. For us, everything is kind of optional, because not every person that calls us is a cabinet maker.
Yeah.
Some of them are sign makers. Some of them are music, they build musical instruments, and, there's so many things that you get into that it's like, a machine that builds a cabinet isn't going to build a ukulele very well.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Like, you have to be versatile and put the right options. And that doesn't mean because it builds cabinets, it can't build the ukulele. Like, so that's where we've tried to build that business that allows our customers the versatility to do what you've said. And one of those things, COVID's a perfect example of that, is when COVID hit, so many of our customers stayed in business because of versatility. Like, let's be honest. I mean, a lot of people thought, nobody's going to survive this thing because it's shutting everybody down. But the reality is the housing market kind of went out of control. I mean, the amount of people that decided to renovate their bathrooms and their kitchens because now they're spending more time in it, or they're building a home office because they're going to be there. And it really boomed that market. But then you thought, well, then the sign guy's got to be getting hurt because nobody's going to. No, because now all the signage that you needed to tell you where to stand and what to do. And it's like, and it's like you started to look at it, and it was like, yes, trade show events, as an example, weren't happening. That industry got crushed. But a large majority of our customers doing the things they were doing with the machine for trade shows flipped the script and were able to build other things with their machine and suddenly converted their shop. And now that we've come back out of it and everything's back open and your trade shows are open, now their versatility, they can build trade show stuff again. But now all this other business they've developed hasn't gone away. Yeah. They're still serving customers. And a lot of our customers have added second and third machines because of the versatility. And it's kind of what I were talking about. You said when we walked out on the floor, you're like, I want to see the ISA. Yep. And we showed you one of the ISAs, kind of a, vaguely put together one. It wasn't all the way assembled, but it was that, hey, the next level for me. If I want to go there, what does it look like? And that's what we're looking for, is being able to take our customers to that next level. And we understand we're not a one size fits all on everything, right? We got to build the right product for the right scenario. And that does mean more products for us as well. And that's where versatility and the ability for us to build new products comes along as well. So it's kind of exciting to hear your story and how ShopSaber was basically a a tool to getting you to that next step.
Oh, absolutely. Go
Going
ahead.
back to your story, it's fascinating to me listening to it, just because of like if you think about the last 10 or 12 episodes we've talked about,
Right.
What did he just touch on? He touched on every single
Everything.
topic that
Yeah.
we just touched on. That other people that were in your shoes whenever you made those decisions, maybe we're listening to those episodes and are like, are those guys really? Do they really know what they're
Right.
talking about? Is that really how it's going to do? Is that really what we need to do? Is that really how it's going to go? You just kind of touched on every single episode and proved to those people that that's what you have to do.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
That's the fascinating thing to me.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like
Whole
when
story.
you start a business, you're taking a risk, and you have to accept risk. Like you can't be halfway in.
Yep.
For
You know, it's like when you're working with a client who it doesn't feel like they're willing to risk
Right.
to get the product done. They're talking, they go back and forth on price and whatever all the time. You've got to be. It's not all dollars and cents. You've got to take the risk. You've got to take the leap, and then for a long time, you're just pushing as hard as you can to make it happen.
Yep.
I'm smiling over here because you said risk, and there's a quote that I saw this morning. I saved it on my phone. That's why I was pulling this up real quick. But it says, if you try, you risk failure. If you don't, you insure it.
Absolutely.
And that like I saw that quote this morning, and I'm like, that's the truth. And it's exactly what you said. Like, failure is always an option at everything you do in life. But to not do anything because you're afraid of failing, you're for sure going to fail. Like at that point, you were successful in failing because you didn't try.
I would have rather fallen flat on my face
Right.
month one than not have tried at all.
Right.
And
Well, you put your life savings into this.
yeah,
You know?
certainly did.
Yeah.
That's a risk. That's a big risk right there.
Yeah.
But it's cool. Like, I mean, that's the thing is like, I hope people listening are hearing that because I'm sure there's somebody listening right now that's been like contemplating that next step. Do I buy the CNC machine? Do I buy the bigger building? Do I hire another person? Oh man, it's a risk. And it's kind of cool for them to hear real people, real story, like hired the person, bought the building, bought the machine. You've done all of these things and all of them are risks,
Yeah.
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 And that's, and the reality is none of us are out of risks way ever, right?
No.
Today we're all thinking about the same thing.
Our shop could be on fire right now.
Right.
You know.
Well, hopefully not. I mean, hopefully not. But yeah, like that's where we went. Shop's on fire. Yeah, but it's the truth. Like there's a risk in everything we do.
Absolutely.
And so I want to talk on something here. Okay, elephant in the room. Everybody sees it on the video right now that's watching. You see these blue things sitting on the desk here. I want to talk about it because really, obviously, I met you years ago. We walked through the shop. We did our whole thing. Your business takes off. And to be honest with you, it's the same story for me a lot of times. I sell a machine to somebody, they invest in the product. The product does what it's supposed to, and they're off being successful. They don't, we're not connecting all the time. We're not talking. But you kind of came across my desk because of a unique thing that you guys have kind of done. And one of that was we all use dust collection, right? Everybody uses dust. Let's get that elephant out of the room. Machines are messy, okay? These things don't clean up after themselves. They're like 5-year-olds. They're really good at making a mess, not always the best at cleaning up. We have over the years tried to always improve that method, right? The dust stock. We have our stage 2 that we use. We have several different dust skirts. Our customers listening know what I'm talking about. But you guys have actually thought beyond that and said, hey, you know what? Yeah, you do have options. Now, maybe they didn't work for you guys. Maybe they did. Obviously, I'll let you tell your story there a little bit. But let's talk about what you guys got here. Let's talk
Sure.
about how we got there. Let's just talk about it.
Sure. Well, I did get a dust stock, and I liked my dust stock. It did a great job. But Andrew and I, shortly after he came on board, we were cutting some goofy material. It was
Was that foam?
it was the wood wool acoustical
yeah.
tiles.
Yeah.
It was this weird goofy material. It was a weird thickness. And at the time, we thought we would be cutting a lot of it. And Andrew and I were just kind of going back and forth. I can't remember exactly what the issue was.
I'm going to guess
But-
clearance because if it's thick and you're cutting anything with depth, the dust stock runs into some issues there.
So Andrew goes, well, I mean, I can jump on that and see if I can design something for this run of material,
Right.
And we can get it going. And that's kind of where this dust boot was born.
Right.
People may recognize it, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're super excited to make it more accessible than it's ever been.
Well, it's really interesting because when Tommy asked me to join the business, I said, I'm done with design and prototyping.
Right.
I said, I'm out. You know,
Never
I've got
again.
CNC experience.
It's stressful.
And but he asked to, you know, for me to bring the 3D printers and have them be a part of the business, you
Right.
know. And then this opportunity, you know, came up, and you know, I looked at, you know, the spindle and whatever, and came up with a design. We have, you know, went through several iterations.
Like any design, you design it and it's never right the first
Yeah.
time.
At our shop, we call it the Hall of Boots, where we have every boot version lined up next to each other.
That's awesome.
From, you know,
Frankenstein,
rudimentary, and,
That's awesome.
and ending with this one, which, you know, the whole philosophy behind this, like you said, ShopSaber customers come in all shapes and sizes.
Right.
And I've heard you guys talk about how there's no one solution for every application, which is true. I completely agree with you.
Yep.
But at the beginning, our thought was, well, why can't there be?
Right.
You know? So why can't there be a universal top plate that has, you know, a variety of different brush plates for different applications?
Right.
You know, we said, you know, there's so much chatter online about, you know, 4-inch hose, 5-inch hose.
This is one of my favorite parts right here.
We thought,
really
why not both? Why can't customers have that option? So this newest design, we have a 4-inch adapter that threads into the air vent.
Right.
That, you know.
So 5-inch or 4-inch, it fits.
Yeah, it fits.
Yeah.
It fits. Whatever, you know, like
So awesome.
you know, some guys are in their garage with their Pro 408.
Right.
You know, they can't run 5-inch hose
Right.
off of their 3 horsepower Grizzly or
Right.
whatever it is.
And it doesn't make sense for some shops. I mean,
Exactly.
The reality is to actually efficiently achieve suction, there's a lot of little behind the scenes scientific things going on. Am I wrong? Right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, you've done a lot of the design side of it. People don't think about that, but it's like, trust me, when we design dust boots, it's not because we don't want it to work the right way. Like we have to pick and choose a lot of times. Okay, is it airflow versus is it, you know, actual suction, or, you know, what are we looking at? Are we moving mass volume, or are we moving, you know, are we trying to pick up all the little dust, you know? And it's so. Yeah, the difference of a 5 to 4-inch sometimes is a difference maker depending on what collector you have. So there's a lot of variables in this that seem somewhat obvious when you have a machine, right? You're like, well, I don't know why they didn't do it this way. Well, if everybody had the same setup as you, we would have probably done it a different way, right? But it's like everybody has a different dust collector. Everybody has a different size hose going to the machine. I mean, it's not always the same. And honestly, yes, we could regulate that. But all that does is by us saying you have to have this and this and this, is it makes it more expensive for people to get into CNC. And as you explained earlier in our conversation, starting up using your savings account to try to go buy this machine to kick a business off, adding an extra cost into something because it's regulated could be the difference between success and failure.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying not to do. We're trying to put people in a position where we regulate what we feel is necessary for best performance. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'd rather you sweep up dust on the floor for 3 months and succeed than to regulate you to buy this massive $10,000 dust collector and you fail because you couldn't keep your business afloat.
Exactly. So yeah. I mean, most people are going to start with that smaller collector,
Right.
and then grow into the bigger one,
Right.
And that's okay. And why can't we have a boot that can
Right.
facilitate that growth?
I love it.
You know, and I'll let Andrew talk more about the design, but
Yeah.
you know what we tried to do and what Andrew can do by 3D modeling it is, you know, if you turn that upside down and look up the skirt,
Yep. No pun intended there. Just correct.
Oh, come on.
there is, we directed the airflow
Yeah.
in the computer modeling directly at the spindle. So there's nowhere for the air to go except directly at the spindle.
Right, which happens to be right where the bit is spinning and cutting. So
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
conveniently where the dust is coming from, right?
Yeah, I mean, so the design, you know, I'm a big like first principles guy. You guys know what first principles are?
Yep.
Yeah. And so
Not everybody listening will. If you want to,
so
you're
first
welcome to get into it.
principles
But
is like trying not to design something from previous knowledge, but designing it from kind of the parameters of the problem itself.
Yep.
And
And the reason I had you explain it real quick is because that's kind of the same way ShopSaber's operated. Like, a lot of people build CNC machines a certain way, and it'd be really easy to be like, well, everybody else is doing it this way, so let's start here. But as you said, the best way to sometimes for us to look at it is what's the problem we're trying to solve, not how everybody else is doing it. Solve today's what we're after here. So
yeah, it's like Elon Musk with SpaceX. You know, when he started that and did that, he didn't look at previous, you know, shuttles or other NASA projects. He started from the ground up, and you look at something that's radically different now that has, you know, different value and potential. So yeah, I mean, and then I don't want to get into the nerdy stuff, but you know, it's just, you know, designing every step kind of most optimally, you know, and then you arrive at something like this. Yeah, the you know, interior surface from the mount plate to the brush plate is continuous through the whole thing, and so it directs the air directly at the spindle. You know, tool stick out's really important here, and so you want to kind of measure your tool so that you know have the dust or the skirt kind of right on top of the material, and you have to, if you know, don't have a huge bit, if it's a small bit that doesn't, you know, you don't want to stick it out a bit, you might get an ER32 that's, you know, extended or whatever.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you have any questions about the design at all that I can ask you about here? I guess I can go in a little bit about.
I like the nerdy stuff. I'm gonna be honest with you. Tell me a little bit about the nerdy
sure.
stuff.
Okay, so
Anything that you can. Okay, let me say this.
Yeah.
I know that some of this is like secret. Like, you know what? It's your own
It's not
concept. We don't want
secret.
somebody else to take your idea. You know, I don't want to like give it away to other dust collection companies out there. But I'm just asking. You know, obviously, the concept, the design concept of it. You know, the one thing that I find interesting the most is that you can really make it whatever you want because it's 3D printed. Like,
That's the beauty. Of
there's
3D
no
printing.
limitation. Like, it's design it. And
not
we
only
can
is
do
the
it.
design optimized, but also the manufacturing process. You know, like if these were injection molded or thermoformed or whatever, you know, there's quite a cost,
Right.
An investment cost to tooling, right? And there's risk in that because you could make a design, you know, take 6 weeks to make a tool, and then you actually form the parts and you put it together and it doesn't work. You want to change it. Well, now you got to go back and change the tool. You know, with the 3D printing process, you know, not only is the print material strong enough, like the mount plate can hold over 100 pounds cantilevered. Which
I
is
can prove
nice.
this. I have definitely tested durability in past with the one that you have sent. Yes, I have made my own mistakes with it. It's strong.
We had it clamped to a bench, and we were stacking stuff on top of it, trying to get to that 100 pounds.
I've dropped it. Trust me, they work.
But that's the beauty of that is, you know, we can I can rapidly design and prototype this
Right.
and make new solutions, which you know, ultimately, back to what you said about kind of it being a secret or whatever, someone taking the idea. That's not really the way we look at this. Like we want to make the most optimal design, using the most optimal manufacturing process, and make it the most affordable cost.
I love
you
that.
know, and competition feel free to make something else. We're gonna make a quality product that's the most economical, and
Right.
that's, you know, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, and I mean, keep your eye on it because we want to add multiple brush plates with different length brushes, and we want to keep as much optionality on the table for ShopSaber customers.
Right.
So I mean, if somebody's listening and they have an idea for their machine and they go, "Hey, I've been thinking that," just TwinCitiesCNC.com. Reach
it.
out. We'd love to hear from you.
I love that. Yeah, and actually, the thing I was going to say too is that I'm most excited about here. So, we've all talked. We're going to be, you know, working together on trying to get this thing on ShopSaber's website. So, ShopSaber just launched here in 2024. For those of you who don't go to our website enough, you should go out there because ShopSaber.com should go there. Go out there, check out our new shopping section, right? The shopping section of our website. We now have a cart. We now have the ability to buy parts online, and we're really getting better at that this year. That's really a big part of our push this year is to make it easier to get the parts and the accessories and the things you need for your CNC machine, you know, at nights and weekends. You know, we're not always, we try to be here all the time, but you know what, to be honest with you, on the weekends, sometimes you find out you need to call it. You need a bit, you need a dust boot. You need something.
Get out on the golf course.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We're not working hard. So no, yeah, but the reality is this is a good opportunity for us to introduce that. Our goal is to be able to put this online and make it so somebody can just simply, for their ShopSaber, go out there and they can order one of these Twin City CNC dust boots.
Yeah, that's
now
awesome.
I know we're working on some stuff currently, trying to make sure compatibility with everything. We don't want the last thing, we've both said it. The last thing we want is somebody to buy one, plug it in, and it doesn't work with their compatibility.
Yes.
So that's what we're trying to get ironed out right now. But I know they're immediately available. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys are using them. We know they work with your configuration, your machine. That being said, if you have a knife or a op laser or something, caution. We're not sure the compatibility yet. We promise we're working on it. But they can go out to your website, correct? And that is something they can contact you immediately. Again, give them your website one more time.
TwinCitiesCNC.com.
There you go. It makes it easy. It's super complicated because if you can't remember their name, you can't remember where you're going. So, but no, it's awesome. Like I said, I'm excited about it. But I gotta ask. You're playing with like this comb looking thing.
My fro pick?
Yeah, your fro pick.
Yeah, so with every purchase, customers will get a brush comb.
That's cool.
To keep their brushes nice and free of debris. Each comb each side is a different radius to match the internal radius.
That's so awesome.
The different internal radiuses of the brush. Works really well.
Yeah, I was playing with it earlier. That's what I said. It's actually pretty cool. You have the ability to literally just get the debris and all the It's something that people don't think about. Like they go, I got a dust skirt. Like, yeah, but like some materials just stick in there, and it's like how many of us have sat there? I know people are going to vision this because they've done it, but I've taken the skirt off and I just take the bottom part of the bristle, and you're beating the heck out of it on the machine trying to get all the crap out of it, you know? And it's like, this solves that problem.
Yeah, and it just helps with the longevity. You don't want the bristles to flare out or flare in, and if you just every time you change a collet or something like that, you just brush through it. Yeah, I mean it's really simple.
Yeah, I mean we have one on our machine and we've run thousands of sheets of material on it now, and the brushes look fantastic because we use the comb.
Because you used your comb on it. I like it. That's so awesome. Like again, but it goes back to your thought process. Just making it better, right? I mean, it would have been easy to build the skirt and be like, we're done.
Yep.
But you're like, hey, how can I make the skirt last longer now?
No, I mean, I think it's all about just making a compelling product that has a lot of value,
right?
And not being complacent. Always looking for improvements. We can just improve on the fly, and
I love it.
We've been using one for long enough now that it works great. We think it's optimized, and we're thinking about new solutions now.
Yeah, I mean this model is really good for processing sheets for cabinetry.
Yeah.
But we want to be able to offer brush plates for different applications.
Right. Yeah, exactly what we just talked about, being able to be versatile. And it's kind of the ShopSaber thought process too. That's what I love about your guys' thought process. It's like we're never satisfied.
Not done.
Like, yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, cool, we made that machine. How can we make it go faster? How
Exactly.
can we make it taller? How can we give you more clearance? And I kind of joke about that because like when we first introduced the first 12-inch gantry on in the market, like we got made fun of by so many manufacturers. What has it got, a lift kit on it? Like people just thought it was stupid because it was so tall. But now you look around the industry and how many people have tall gantry. Like it kind of like changed people's mentality because why wouldn't you want more clearance? Like
It's that versatility.
Yeah.
You're gonna get that oddball job that might dictate that clearance.
Right.
And now you can say yes.
Yeah, and it goes back to earlier, finding the right time to say no.
Yeah.
And sometimes you want the ability to say yes. And it's like, don't let the tool you're using be the reason you have to say no.
Exactly.
I want to say no because I want to say no, not because my machine told me no. You don't tell me what to do.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So no, it's kind of, just how I've always felt about it. But I guess real quick, we're kind of getting at the end of the episode here, but anything you guys want to add to this? Anything we left out that you're like, hey, I'm dying to get this information out there. I want people to know this about our company. Anything I've left out?
What do we want people to know about our company? We're relationship driven.
Yeah, we like to find
It's kind of our value system.
Yeah, we like to find relationships where there's a symbiotic relationship there. Where it's always the worst clients that you want to increase the price, and it's the best clients that you want to really, you know, work out for.
The amount of times Andrew and I have looked at each other where we're getting ready to send off an invoice and we're talking about it.
Right.
And we go, you know what? We like Jake.
Yeah.
We like Jake. Let's
We like Dan.
Yeah, we like Dan.
You know, we've had that same experience in our life. Like, that's the way I am with vendors and stuff. Like, sometimes we get situations that come along and you're just like, I really like working with them. Like, it kind of makes the stuff that you don't like to deal with just not a big deal because you're just like, I like them a lot. You know, it makes it more enjoyable in business.
If you can fill your stable of clients with people that recognize the value that you're creating for them,
right.
You know, that's a best case scenario.
That's why we do what we
Everybody
do.
wins. Yeah,
That's why
exactly.
at ShopSaber, when we give lifetime support, it's so easy for me to work a night and a weekend because the vast majority of our customers appreciate it.
Yep,
Like they
100%.
truly, like they're good people that like, hey, I know I'm bugging you on a Friday night. You know what? Now I want to help you.
Yeah,
Because like you understand that like it's abnormal to get that service. You know, it's the ones that, you know, the handful of people, and you deal with them too. It's the handful of people you cross in life that wreck it for everybody else. You know, and it's like you sometimes just have to be able to block out those experiences and know that it's one bad person or one bad experience. Move forward, do what you're doing because the vast majority of people appreciate you.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And you know, it's the same with this. Like seeing what you guys are creating, it's pretty awesome to see what you guys are doing, and it's probably an underappreciated, you know, thing you're doing for the industry.
We just want to create a user experience
Right.
that people are happy with.
I love it.
You know, that's the driving force behind everything that we do. Is our customer.
I love it. I think that's why we're all sitting here because we all feel the same way about it. You know, we all
absolutely.
align similarly there. Now, there's something that Nick and I'd like to do. It's called Rapid Fire. It's a question game. So we're gonna throw stuff at you guys, and you don't get any time to think about it. So we're gonna ask you a question.
Are you going to go between us?
You
or-
both can answer. I don't care.
Okay.
Like you can. I don't care who answers, how you answer. If you both answer, but basically, we're gonna throw a question out there. And I want you guys to just give us what comes to mind. So.
And I only have 4 because the first one on my list was already taken care of with the Powerade.
No, we're gonna do it
Gatorade
again.
thing.
Do it again. It's fine. Start it off with it.
All right. Well, Powerade or Gatorade?
Gatorade.
Powerade.
Go ahead. You can do your second question.
Appetizer or dessert?
Appetizer.
Dessert.
My man.
Favorite car?
Geo Tracker.
Like it.
Aston Martin V12 Vanquish.
Love it.
Yeah.
Socks with sandals, yes or no?
Yes.
If they're my Birkenstocks, yes.
I don't like sweaty feet.
Fair enough.
Fair. That's a
I just broke
realistic.
the Birkenstocks out.
I'm still Team
This last
Andrew, I
week,
guess,
yeah.
for the record.
I like to
Socks
know.
with sandals?
No, without.
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 Okay.
But
I was gonna ask
he's 2.5 out of 3.
sandals or Crocs.
Sandals.
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 Yeah.
What game show do you think you could win?
Card Sharks.
Card checks.
Andrew Stone.
Andrew just immediately was like, "Oh no,
Not Jeopardy.
not Jeopardy."
No?
We know which one he can't win. Favorite music?
Just classic rock.
Classic rock.
Yeah.
Currently, like house, disco, funk.
There we go.
But I've got kind of a wide.
That's
variety
what's
of
on your
music.
headphones in the shop?
Yeah.
Nice.
Purple disco machine.
That and F1 racing. Favorite color?
Green.
Blue.
Right,
Hey.
wrong.
Wrong?
Yeah, you can't be
Well,
wrong.
it's-
You can't be right if it's not
To
blue.
be fair, it's a little darker than
They
this,
say
but,
geniuses pick green. That's why I say it.
ShopSaber's blue. I'm sorry, the answer's wrong.
If you had to live the rest of your life in one Disney or Pixar movie, which would it be?
Oh, wow.
Monsters Inc.
Disney or Pixar? Toy Story.
Toy Story. I like that one. That's a good one.
answer.
I like Monster Inc. That's a good movie though.
Yeah.
Dream vacation spot.
Hawaii. On a beach.
I don't know. I really like northern Minnesota. I don't know.
North Shore. Nice.
North Shore.
North Shore. Love
Yeah.
it. North Shore is awesome. For anybody who's listening to this who doesn't know what the North Shore is, it's awesome.
Just drive north.
yeah,
You'll hit it.
Yeah, you'll get there eventually. But honestly, the North Shore is a pretty awesome.
Go
is
polar
awesome.
plunge into Superior.
Yeah.
And your life. will
I'm a huge
change.
fan of the North
Yeah.
Shore.
Yeah,
I used to ride
it's awesome.
snowmobile up there a lot. Love that.
Nice.
Love it. Favorite website?
ShopSaber.com.
Got it.
F1.com.
F1. Right, wrong. Obviously, again, can't be. It's ShopSaber. It's always ShopSaber. All right, final question: peanut butter or jelly? Which part's more important for the sandwich?
Jelly.
Peanut butter, definitely.
Okay, for the guy that said jelly, what flavor?
Raspberry.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah,
What just happened?
I love
like 'em all,
raspberry
but-
jelly.
Oh, strawberry.
Strawberry?
Strawberry?
Strawberry's good
Okay.
too. Yeah.
I like raspberry. It's probably my favorite. That's awesome that you picked that. So
I've ever had
that's
that,
all it was. That's just rapid fire. We throw random stuff, and people don't realize. Like you start thinking about it, you're like, I don't know the answer to that. It's a simple question. So
Yeah. No one ever asked me my favorite color.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you see,
Yeah.
you know the thing that I was joking with my kids about the other day. My kids just got new shoes.
Nice. How
And
fast can they run?
Exactly. I'm like, they had to show me how fast they could run in
Yeah.
their shoes. And I thought to myself, nobody asks me how fast I can run anymore when I show them I got new shoes. Like,
That used to be the thing
Yeah.
for decades. Was
Like-
I think I got a little bit more zip in these
right?
things.
Like
yeah.
you could go faster or jump higher, one of the two. But like now I get new shoes and nobody asks me how fast I can run in them. Like, why? Why did that change?
They tell you, oh, they match your shirt. It
Yes,
looks nice.
they're like, oh, those are nice. They look good.
yeah.
How come you didn't ask me to jump in them?
My wife thinks when she gasses up her car that she has a little bit more zip in her car.
Right.
With a full tank of gas.
I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Like I
But
mean,
if you think about it, it weighs more, so it's going to go slower.
Okay.
as I was gonna say,
Yeah,
it
I'll tell her
actually works the opposite. Unless here's the thing, unless you're racing on dirt,
that. Okay.
adding weight to the rear of the car
Yep.
when the dirt is slippery will actually create traction and therefore create speed.
So that's why you have cinder blocks in your gas tank.
Yes, cinder blocks in my gas tank. No, I put those in my leg. That way, when I get out of the car, they leave with me and people don't see them.
Fair.
That's why I have to drag my legs behind me.
For all the rules officials listening, it was a joke.
No, now they're going to tear my car apart. Thanks. Appreciate that. So, yeah, I don't think I have any more questions for him. Do you have any more questions for him?
No, I went through all mine.
All right. Well, we went through them. You guys passed rapid fire.
Yeah.
I love it.
Sweet.
No, that was fun. I appreciate you guys coming in today. You guys got anything else that you guys want to talk about?
No, go to TwinCityCNC.com. Feel free to reach out with reach out to us for anything. No, that's about it.
If you got a
Thanks for
problem that you
having
can't
us.
solve, trust me, these guys are smart dudes.
Yeah.
Give them a chance.
Andrew is.
We're just a couple guys.
I'm
they're
kind of
smart.
a bull in a china shop.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's why we get along. It's me too.
You guys even each other out nicely.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it was awesome. Like I said, I appreciate you guys coming on today, and hopefully everybody listening, hopefully you guys gain some knowledge somewhere. You know, obviously with something, you know, whether it be a little bit about their new dust skirt that they're that they're kind of pushing. Like I said, you want to know more about it, go to their website. Obviously, it will be on our website soon enough. But if you want to, like I said, just think about making that next step in your business, and you're a little nervous about it. Just know there's a lot of us out there that have done the same thing. A lot of us that have felt the same way, and to be honest, a lot of us that still feel the same way. But it's okay to take a risk on yourself. You know, sometimes that's the best risk
Yeah.
you'll ever take.
Yeah. And we're an open book. So, I mean, my phone number is on the website. Give a call if you want to talk through anything.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about it briefly. You know, we'll kind of finish with this, but we were talking about it before the show, how very different the world is when it comes to, we've seen a big change in the last
Yeah.
5 years of people wanting to help each other be successful and provide more knowledge and information, where 10 years ago, it was a lot more secret, don't want to tell anybody anything. Like now it's just like an open book.
Yeah, the industry seemed to be a little bit more dog eat dog.
Right.
And I think people are starting to wise up to, there's plenty of slices of the pie.
Right.
And, we can all elevate each other. I mean, it's a pretty amazing thing.
You accomplish a lot more working as a team than you
Exactly.
do trying to fight each other.
Yeah.
I've learned that in business a long time. And, again, it doesn't have to be my idea. You guys have heard it on the show. You guys maybe not as much, but people who listen to the show hear me say it. You can have anything you want in life as long as you help enough people get what they want.
Yeah.
And the reality is you're better off to work with people than against people. And
Yeah.
that's just truly how I believe. And, like I said, I don't want to be the smartest guy in the room. Trust me, if I'm the smartest, we're going to be capped out soon. So yeah, I want to find people smarter than me. So
I did have one more question pop into my head.
Yeah.
Crunchy or creamy peanut butter?
Crunchy.
Creamy.
I'm still Team Andrew.
I'm still Team Andrew, he says. That's funny. Yeah. No, but with that, like I said, I think we're gonna let you guys get back to your day. You guys are business owners. You guys don't have a bunch of free time. I appreciate the time you've spent with us today. For those listening, we'll have another episode next week. I have no idea what we're gonna talk about, but we'll figure that out when it comes. And with that, I'm Brandon.
I'm Nick.
I'm Tommy.
I'm Andrew.
Thanks for talking shop with ShopSaber.